Hey everyone, I am Manoj Kumar. I teach economics for class 11 and 12. Today in this session, we will be talking about national income accounting. About a week ago, I had uploaded a video on this channel which deals with aggregative measures of national income like NDP-FC, NDP at net domestic product at factor cost, gross national product at market price, the conversion of one aggregative measures into another. And I am very encouraged and motivated after seeing the viewership as well as the number of subscribers I have got. And to top it all, the effusive comments that I have got over there from my students have motivated me further to come up with more and more videos. You know, during this pandemic, when all of us have to move on to online teaching, I am a bit late in this, but it is better late than never. And so I have decided to cover all the topics in economics for class 12 and 11. For class 12, it is more important because their board exam is scheduled very soon, and for 11thers as well, their final exam is going to come up in a few months. Today, we will be talking about national income accounting, which is the first chapter in macroeconomics. It is the toughest chapter, and most of the learners, most of the students find it pretty tough to handle. The main reason is this chapter contains a number of terms and there is numerical part as well, which discourages students to go through it in detail. As a matter of fact, what we find is that in board exams, most of the answers that students give, they are guesswork. The reason is they are not diligent, they have not covered the chapter thoroughly, and there are gaps in their approach. My purpose over here is to put across this chapter in such a manner that students find it interesting, and once they get into the finer details of this chapter, their interest level will increase and they will find it very interesting to work out. So, let us talk about this chapter, National Income Accounting. As I said earlier, we are going to talk about how to approach this chapter so that things become easier and we find it interesting. So, in that process, we are required to follow certain steps. We will be talking about steps to follow while approaching this chapter. And as we move from one step to another and come up to the last stage, things will become seamless and you will find it quite easy to work out the questions in this chapter. So, taking the first step, we are required to comprehend the associated terms, their meaning and significance. as you are aware, there are number of terms in this chapter like domestic territory, normal residents, circular flow of income, output and expenditure. Then there is net gross and depreciation. We have factor cost, market price, net indirect tax. We have domestic income, we have national income, we have net factor income from abroad. We will talk about stock and flow. We will talk about compensation of employees. We will talk about operating surplus. There is gross domestic capital formation. So there are a number of terms: nominal GDP, real GDP, GDP deflator. So we are required to have a good understanding of these terms, the concepts, their meaning and their significance. If any one of the term is not clear, we are not aware of that, then chances are that we will get stuck and will not be able to give the answer. So it is very important to have a good grasp of all the terms which we find in this chapter. So this associated terms, their understanding, the meaning of that, the significance is the first step. Once we are done with that, the second step is to remember the formula for calculating national income, which you are aware is represented by capital Y, and we find this national income by three methods: income method, expenditure method and value added method. We have three formulas and these formulas have their parts and subparts. For example, in income method, we have compensation of employees. This compensation of employees is the main part. Its subparts are cash, kind and social security contribution by employers. Similarly, we have profit as the main part and then we have dividend, retained earnings or undistributed profit and corporation tax as its main parts. So, the main parts of the formula and their subparts. To have an understanding of it is very important. For example, if profit is given and dividend is also given, dividend does not matter at all because it is a part of profit and profit has been given. Similarly, if compensation of employees is given and cash is also given, cash does not matter because it is part of compensation of employees. So, the understanding of the comprehension of the main parts in the formula and their subparts is very important. So, that is the second step. When we are done with this, the third step, as you can see here, is to comprehend the items which are included or excluded while calculating national income. There are a number of items in this chapter. Some of them are included while calculating national income, while others are not included while calculating national income. And more than that, we are also required to learn the reasons behind their inclusion or exclusion. Why a particular item is included and why a particular item is not included. For example, sale of second-hand goods is not included because when it was sold for the first time, it had been recorded, and if we do it again, it will be double counting. Similarly, for example, let us assume that someone is going to sell his or her flat. So this sale of the flat will not be included, but the real estate agent who makes the buying and selling of the flat to happen by rendering his or her services, he asks for the commission for rendering that services. So that commission paid to the real estate agent who was part of the buying and selling of the second hand flat will be included. Likewise, shares in the stock market, their sale is not included. They don't lead to any value addition. It is known as paper money, but the stockbroker who helps in the buying and selling of shares, his commission is included. So, we are required to learn, be sure which item is included and which item is not included. And we also must be fully aware of the reasons behind their inclusion or exclusion. So that was the third step. Now when we go through these three steps, then the fourth step is to go through the worked out numericals given in the textbook. If you will turn over the pages of your textbook, you will find 40, 50, more than 50 numericals which have been solved, worked out. So you are required to go through each one of them one by one. Why I am saying this? Why it is important? It is important because once you go through all those numericals, you will get exposed to a number of items. As I said earlier, if profit is also given and dividend is also given, dividend does not matter. It is not counted. But someone who is not thorough with his concepts, he or she will think that fine, this dividend is also there, this profit is also there, so this dividend has to be added or subtracted, whatever. So what they do is, they include or add or subtract all the items given over there. You will get exposed to a number of items. You will be able to see the formula a number of times. It will keep hammering your mind, and you will be able to remember it without any trouble. It will get etched at the back of your memory mind, and you will be able to easily retrieve it. So once you have gone through the worked out numericals given in the textbook very diligently one by one, looking at each and every item, looking at the formula, whether they have been added or subtracted, then the last step is to start working out unsolved numericals. And believe me, if you have gone through the first 4 steps diligently, this working out of unsolved problems will be seamless. You will not find any trouble in working them out because you have been exposed to the numerical parts, a number of them. You are fully acquainted, familiar with the associated terms. You know the formula. You know the reasons behind inclusion or exclusion of a particular item. So, if we follow these steps in national income accounting one by one, then at the end of it, no matter what type of question comes, you will be able to work it out without any hitch, any glitches, any problem. So, that was my purpose of this session, where I put it across how to approach this chapter so that things become easier. And if we follow these steps, things will fall in their place naturally. without our making any effort. So, I hope these steps will help you have a good grasp over the chapter and a complete mastery over the contents of this chapter. So, in this session, that is all about the steps involved in approaching this National Income Accounting chapter. In the next video, I will be talking about the various terms as we have seen earlier in this video, the various terms associated with this chapter, and will learn their meaning, their significance, what they are, whether they are included or not included. I hope you are able to comprehend, understand what I am trying to put across, and it will help you work out the problems of this chapter without any trouble. Thank you.